In this screencast, I just wanted to walk you through the steps of enabling workflows and how to build workflows, as well as what it takes to actually build a workflow in SAP Cloud Platform, or what exactly are the list of steps. I'm not just trying to restrict this video not only just to the steps of enabling the workflow environment within the Cloud Platform cockpit, but also um, I got a chance to work on few of the things about how to build workflow and how do we actually perform different operations within SAP Cloud Platform workflow, and how can we compare and contrast between the native workflow development or the classical workflow development, which I used to do, at least when I used to work on a business suite. So yes, I don't want to take you to the steps about how do we enable the SAP Cloud Platform account, free trial account, and everything, because there's enough information uh, on SAP no community within SDN or SCN community. So I don't want to walk you through the steps. So all is that you just have to make sure that before you start looking at this video, or if in case you wanted to understand how do we enable SAP Cloud Platform account, free trial account. So I would recommend you just have a look, try to Google it, so you can find enough number of blogs, or even I would recommend just navigate to developerssap.com, so you can find enough information about how do we enable SAP Cloud Platform Cockpit, a free trial account. So taking it forward, so I already have an account, so I will just log into my free trial account. And once I enter into my free trial account, I have enough options to actually see, like for example, I just have to click on enter your trial account. But there are two different environments where actually your SAP Cloud Platform cockpit is deployed. One is on Cloud Foundry, which is your trial version, and this would be either focus down the line, I guess after November 17th or 13th is the last day of using the Neo trial version. But yeah, I'm not very sure about the dates, but I would say that down the line, or nearby, we will not be able to access the Neo trial account anymore. So that's what I heard. But anyways, in the screencast, what I'm trying to walk you through is like how do we build, and how can we actually understand the different terminologies, or how can we compare the existing workflow developments of what we do in NetWeaver with SAP Cloud Platform Cockpit. So let's and let me just navigate to my trial account. So I will actually go into my trial account. So as soon as you enter into your trial account, you end up seeing different options over here, about your account information, about your space, subspace, what is your global account, what is your organization. You can find enough information under your trial account details, but I will not go through those details. The first and very foremost important thing is that you need to enable, uh, you need to navigate to the booster section. So in the booster section, you just end up searching by using the workflow term. So here you end up, looking at one of the extension suite, which is actually talking about workflow management. Okay, so the one and very most important thing is about you need to enable this. So all is that you just have to click on start, and what it does is it just tries to enable the booster. It may just take few minutes. I already enabled it, but I tried couple of times, like just to understand like what would be the behavior if in case um, you know, to understand, like I already enabled it, but still, if I'm trying to enable it, what would happen? I already tried it, but nothing happens. You can just try and start any number of times. One important thing which I would say is that you bookmark this particular link. So I try to bookmark this link, because later, um, when I actually wanted to, when we actually look at where we can see the inbox or how do we define where we can see the definitions of the workflow, what are the different instances of the workflow, like development tools, monitoring tools, as well as the life cycle or maybe life cycle management tools. So you have different options. So I would say like you have to actually bookmark this, go to the application. So this application is basically, it's a Fiori Launchpad application in which there are already some set of roles based on the roles whatever that are assigned, which we will talk in a few moments, like what kind of roles that are needed uh, to make your SAP Cloud Platform cockpit work for your user, as well as to use the SAP Cloud Platform cockpit to build workflows and start instances, and how do we monitor all these things, we'll see in a moment. But yes, as soon as you see this pop up, I would say like you just bookmark this. And I already bookmarked it, but let me just open this in a new window. I just tried to open this in a new tab. Maybe you won't be able to see it right now, but in a few moments, we'll just navigate to the tab. So other important thing is that what happens when you try to activate or when you try to start the workflow management service or a booster within your SAP Cloud Platform cockpit is that there are different components involved. I would very briefly walk you through the list of components as well as what it takes actually, a workflow which is actually built in Cloud Platform, what it takes and what kind of resources it actually expects when you start building a workflow. Like, for example, how do we determine agents? What kind of different operations or tasks or activities that we perform? So I would walk you through all those things at a very briefly. I may not be able to explain you everything in detail, but yes, the very important thing is that when you actually look at the picture, which is already in the booster page. So if you look at this, so basically your SAP workflow management, basically as per the way how I understood, the very important thing or the heart of your SAP Cloud Platform workflow would be APIs. The key information, the key running aspect, or the workflow, or making the workflow to live and run is actually your different APIs. I don't want to walk you through all the steps again. As I said, I don't want to make you understand the entire picture. Uh, but at a very high level, what I can say is that SAP Cloud Platform Workflow basically tries to get integrated with the API Hub. So it is very important that the solution, the SAP Cloud Platform Workflow, works with different solutions. When I say solution, it can be cloud solution like SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, or Hybris. So it can just work with, excuse me, guys. So it can just work with different solutions. So the very important thing that to integrate this cloud platform workflow with different solutions, the most important thing is that we should find, or we should have the appropriate APIs to get connected to these different solutions. So that is one of the key factors that you have to keep in mind, that whenever you are trying to work with SAP Cloud Platform workflows, the most important thing is that you are completely aware of the fact, or you are completely aware of the different APIs which can actually help you to build and perform the needed activities or operations that you are expecting on the business object. Okay, so at a very high level, SAP Cloud Platform Workflow is not just restricted to one single ERP or business suite, but it is actually a solution which can integrate different cloud solutions, which are actually enabled by or provided or shipped by SAP Cloud or SAP itself. Okay, so here you can see the list of solutions which are actually supported. Like, for example, as I said, like SAP SuccessFactors, SAP HANA on Cloud, Field Glass, Conquer, Ariba. Yeah, you name it and you have it there. And apart from this, there is also a possibility to integrate your conversational AI, as well as intelligent RPA, which is again a kind of add-on. I would say, like when I actually got an experience to work with or look at the experience the intelligent RPA, which was actually robotic process automation. So I actually felt that it can actually enhance and leverage the ability and capabilities of SAP Cloud Platform workflow. So there is also a chance to integrate and work with this SAP Intelligent RPA along with the workflows and conversational AIs. Okay, so these are few things which basically you can just make a note of it whenever you're trying to actually start with working with SAP Cloud Platform workflows. But yes, there is enough huge amount of information which I cannot just walk you through this video. Coming back to the context of where we actually try to see that once we enable it, so you actually end up looking at different components. This is something very important which I feel that you have to understand what kind of components which are actually involved in building SAP workflow or cloud platform workflows. So few some of the or the majority of the components which are actually involved, the different services, I would say actually we have to start making use of the cloud terminology, which we call it as services as well as subscriptions. So when we are dealing with cloud, most of the times either we end up using one of the subscribe to one of the services or make use of one of the services. So so the different services which are actually used is like business rules, where you have a possibility to actually define the different business logic associated with it, and process visibility. I am again, you just have to explore these different services. But yes, these are the different components which are enabled automatically once you finish the start process, once you enable your booster for a trial version. So um, I would say that there is also other way where you can enable your workflow management subscription, but don't do that because what I did is like I first enabled the subscription of workflow management, and then I tried to come and use the booster, enable the booster. So finally, I couldn't. So finally, what happened is like I was not able to actually enable or successfully. I could see the result of after clicking the start button. I could not see that the operation went successfully. So what I did is like I have to again disable the workflow management service inside my account, sub account, and again I have to come back and I have to enable this booster. I had to enable this booster. So I would recommend that please do not activate this service directly within your sub account. Rather, you enable the booster completely, so which will take care of enabling all the needed services, all the dependent services as well as subscriptions by itself. So yes, and after this, the very important thing, like where we actually build our workflows, is this is the place which is Business Application Studio. If in case you are using a Neo trial version, maybe you end up using SAP Web ID full stack version. Which yes, I think after November 18th or 17th, we may not be able to use it. But yes, because I tried to build this workflow in SAP Business Application Studio. So yes, definitely, this is the first place where you have to come and start with your enabling the boosters. So once you enable the boosters, what you can do is that you just have to navigate to your you can just navigate to your trial home sub account and sorry, let me just log in again. Yes, and what you can do is like once you're inside your trial account of a Cloud Foundry environment, so you end up looking at different subscriptions. So that's this is what I was trying to say. Like here also you have a workflow. So what I did for the first time when I was trying to enable the cloud platform workflow management, SAP workflow management, what I did is like instead of enabling the boosters, I was directly inside my trial account of Cloud Foundry environment, and I tried to first enable this workflow management, and it was not working properly. So that's the reason why I would say like first instead of coming inside, instead of enabling this, I would always say like you enable the boosters, and then what I did is like my business application studio was already enabled before I started working on this workflow. So I didn't try to actually again look at this business application studio. But if in case you didn't enable it, but don't worry about it because you are enabling the booster. So by default, this business application studio subscription will also come into the picture and it should be enabled. All right. And when I click on this go to application, you end up looking at a different tab. In the trial version, as you guys are already aware that you have some limitations and restrictions when you're trying to use SAP Business Application Studio. Um, One of the restriction is that you cannot have more than two dev spaces, and you cannot have at any point of time you can run only one dev space. So I just have one dev space over here. So when you are trying to create the dev space, make sure that you choose the dev space type as for Fury, because because what happens is that when you try to enable the dev space as a Fury, you have a possibility to build multi-target applications, MTA applications. So this is very important. So when we are trying to deal with SAP workflows or SAP Cloud Platform workflows, one of the very important thing is that we should be able to build MTA applications. So make sure that when you're trying to create the dev space, you have a possibility to enable this. But maybe let me just walk you through that. Yeah, sample. So I just gave some, so this is what I was trying to talk, that you choose SAP Fury. And in the additional SAP extensions, what you can do is that you have to choose what kind of extensions that you are expecting within the dev space. So make sure that you enable this workflow management as well. So so that your business application studio, whatever that you are trying to use as a service, as a subscription, so it understands actually the difference, that you are trying to build a workflow. So make sure that you choose SAP Fury as well as then you just enable. This is what I did. And then you just have to click on create dev, okay, which will actually take few moments, and then you should be able to see a dev space with this name, whatever the name that you gave, and make sure that you start, and it should be in the state of running. So once it is running, then what you can do is that you just have to click on the name of the dev space. And before I talk more about uh, workflows, I just wanted to briefly walk you through a few things about um, targeting your space, because since we are working with cloud, every cloud account ends up having one organization, and each organization will end up having a space, and a space end up having different users. So it's like you're trying to divide your entire organizational hierarchy into different organizations and spaces, and who are actually members of these spaces and what kind of roles these people have. So it is a kind of a organizational representation. So I don't want to get into the details, but it's very important that you have to target. When I say target, it means that you have to actually be in the space what you are actually allowed to develop or build your applications. So space is exclusively for those set of members where they are allowed, and they are allowed to build their respective applications. So first time when you look at it, so here if at the bottom left, see that my Cloud Foundry environment is already trying to target a specific organization and space. Uh, so for the first time, when you actually come, it might be actually in the orange color. So what you have to do is like you just have to make sure that you have the proper endpoint. When you say endpoint is nothing but a place you are trying to refer to your organization. I would say, at a very brief level, I would say like when you say endpoint, you're trying to actually target to that specific organization. So you are trying to give the endpoint, and you just have to click on enter. and then you have to give your appropriate email address by which you actually created. So this is your login user. So it's not endpoint. When you have to log in or make use of that organization, you have to first log into the organization. So it's like your user ID which you are supposed to give. So I gave my user ID and press enter, and you have to give the name of the your password, login password. So make sure you give everything, and once you give all the information, then it actually tries to target to the respective organization space and the user. So right, so because in my case I already did that, so that's the reason why I don't have to do it again. I just try to press escape, and then you end up looking at different things. uh, so one of the important thing is that in the case of when you are trying to build a workflow, what is a very important thing is like you have to first go to your business application studio and create a project from template. So once you click on that create a project from template, this is what I was trying to say, like the very important thing when you're trying to build create a dev space. The very important thing is that you choose the dev space type as SAP Fiori, so that you end up having a possibility to create a multi-target application. So once you click on this, then you just have to click on next. So once you just give some random name, and then once it is created, so you can see that it is already created under your project explorer. So once it is created, so you just have to go and you just have to, first of all, you just make sure that right click on the folder of the project, click on open in terminal, so that you end up directly inside the folder. Or else you can also just click on the terminal, and then what you can do is that you can just make use of the Linux commands, like for example cd the folder name. uh, Currently there is only one file. What you have to do is that once you are inside it, so what you can do is that you just have to click on create a MTA module from template. So once you I click on create a module from template, so what you end up is that I'm sorry guys, I think I am in a wrong place. So once you come over here, so what you can do is that you just have to click on, yeah, and then you just have to choose the name as workflow, build a workflow module. This is one of the ways. Otherwise what you can do is that there was one more option which you have a possibility to do this, but I have to understand this. Yeah. Okay, once you do this, so you have a possibility to click on enter, and the very important thing is that to give the name of the template, so module name. So for example, here I would give the workflow and ZBS and workflow. Yes, and here you can see that you are actually landed on your workflow builder, which is more or less like you are actually trying to access the workflow builder from your business application studio. So once so as I said, like there was another possible way to actually build the workflow module, but one of the easiest way which I remember at this point in time is that you just have to type the command yo, That's what I came to know after looking at few in the SAP community. And once you execute this command, it'll help you to understand which kind of module you want to build, and then you choose SAP Workflow module as a part of your project, as a part of your MT application. So this is something how you actually enable your workflow environment within the system, as well as how do you actually look at your workflow editor. This is how actually you build your first workflow project within your SAP Cloud Platform. And the very important thing is that I actually wanted to go through all the steps. What are the different, as I said, like, it's not just about enabling or creating a simple project, but also it's about to make you guys understand what are the different properties or attributes, or what are the different kinds of steps that are actually involved. Because I know there are enough number of people who already understand what is a workflow and how do we build workflows, what are the different steps in the workflows. So in this part, now what I would like to walk you through is that in this part, I just wanted to make you understand how do we actually all the way come into the cloud platform cockpit, and how do we enable the boosters. And yes, one of the important things which I forgot to actually make you guys understand is that about the roles. So the very important thing is that you have to come to the roles section before you actually navigate to Business Application Studio. There are a few roles which you have to make sure that you have these roles assigned to you. So by default, you have to navigate to your trust configuration settings under your trial account. Click on default, and you just give the name of your email address. And when you say show assignments, it should be actually trying to show you the different roles that are assigned to your user ID or to your account. So the very important thing is that make sure before you start building workflows, you have these roles enabled. So you may ask me like, how did you end up having these roles in your user ID by default? That's the advantage of boosters. So as soon as you enable the booster was actually taking care of assigning all these roles to my user ID. So that's the reason why I was trying to say that, instead of directly enabling the subscription, just come to the boosters, and then you actually enable the boosters directly. Right. So this is one of the way where you can start. Maybe in the next video, I would like to actually walk you through the different concepts, and I will try to make you understand how can you compare and contrast with the steps or with the activities, whatever that were there in the NetWeaver workflows or with cloud platform workflows. And also the very important thing, as I said, like whenever you are trying to build something on the cloud platform, the most key factor to make anything to understand is your api.sap.com. This is one of the key factors that you have to, maybe I think you should bookmark this site. So once you navigate to the site and to the business hub, API Business Hub, you have a section where you can see that SAP Cloud Platform workflow or a SAP Cloud Platform. And under that SAP Cloud Platform, when you click View More, you will actually see something called SAP Cloud Platform workflow. So inside this workflow, you end up looking at different APIs which are actually relevant to Cloud Foundry as well as relevant for Neo environments. So, but since we are trying to talk about Cloud Foundry environment, I would actually say like, you should actually look at the Cloud Foundry environment APIs. So APIs are the ways or the means to actually fetch different information. So these are the different APIs which you already, which are standard delivered by SAP. So to get, for example, what are the different instances, and what are the different attributes that are associated with the workflows, status of the workflows. You have different possibilities. So for example, if you look at this is these are the different services for the user task instances. But for example, if in case you want to understand what are the different workflow definitions, then you end up having a different set of APIs for getting for getting the details about data, which is more or less like metadata of the workflow definitions. So for example, if in case you want to understand to get the instances of the workflow, so then you have a different set of APIs or services, APIs. Yeah, let's keep it as APIs. So the different APIs, and this is where actually you can actually look at this in the same way. When I said like it's a cloud platform workflows, it's not just a framework, it's a solution, and it's a way how actually integrates different cloud solutions at one place. So this is how actually it works. So you end up looking at different APIs. For example, as I said, like in the picture what we just saw earlier, like you have different solutions, cloud solutions, and you have a possibility to access different APIs. So and different APIs for based on the solution. So whatever the solution that you're trying to integrate with your SAP Cloud Platform, so make sure that you are aware of the appropriate APIs. And if in case you don't have appropriate APIs, obviously you have a possibility to customize or build your own APIs and make it available. Okay. Yeah, I think I would actually want to end this screencast. I just want to keep the screencast for 30 minutes. And in the next screencast, I would walk you through the list of steps and the concepts of how to build and how to actually enable different features of workflow. Thanks.